Head coach Carl Semesco, redshirt senior Jenna Cobb, redshirt junior Whitney Knight, and junior Kenesha Atwater. We'll take an opening statement from Coach Semesco, and then we'll address questions for the student athletes first. We will then dismiss them, and we'll give you a few more minutes with Coach Semesco. Coach?
First the game started off. They blitzed us pretty good at the very beginning. They knocked down a lot of shots, and we turned it over the first few possessions. In the first 4 minutes, we had a lot of wasted possessions. So we got ourselves a little bit of a hole, but I'm proud of how we, came back for the rest of the half and put ourselves in position to compete. In the second half, unfortunately, Florida State's really good. And, there are times when I see Florida State where they're the second best team in the country, and there were parts of today's game where they were playing at about that level. So that makes it really tough. Second half, I think we got a little bit dejected because we got some good looks really early in the second half. We didn't make any of them. The lead expanded, and I think then we kind of hurried some things and rushed some shots rather than to continue to run our offense. And, unfortunately, to beat a team as good as Florida State is on their home court, you're going to have to play a lot like Dayton did yesterday against Kentucky. You're going to have to shoot the three at a high percentage. You're going to have to finish your layups at a high percentage. And, unfortunately, when we got those types of shots, it wasn't our day to make it. And as I said, Florida State's just too good to leave that many points out on the floor.
If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll bring the mic to you. Addressing the student athletes, identify yourself and your media outlet, please.
Phil Holter, congratulations on a great season. Jen, congratulations on a great career. As it's over now, can you just reflect for us a little bit? Just give us your emotions right now.
Obviously it hurts, to lose. You don't want to go out like that, especially the way it was. But I couldn't have asked for a better senior year with a better coach, with a better group of girls. We lost 3 games the whole year. And every tournament but this one, we came out with a win. So I think we have a lot to be proud of. And today, like Coach said, if you're going to beat a good team like Florida State, you got to take your shots, and you got to be able to battle with them, and you got to get a win. So.
Questions for the student athletes?
Justin King, Eagle News. What were they doing that defensively that just wasn't getting you guys going? You guys weren't hitting shots that well, and what were they doing defensively that kind of threw you guys off?
They pressure defensively. They try to get in their passing lanes and steal passes and just try to knock you off balance. I think it kind of got to us in the beginning, and then we settled down a little bit and started getting the shots that we wanted, but we just weren't able to finish layups or finish our 3-point numbers.
Whitney, when you came here, they had just become eligible for Division I, now 3 times in 4 years, and the victory this year in the rankings. So what has the season done for your program? Has it gained you some national recognition? And how proud are you of what you've accomplished?
I'm very proud of what we have accomplished this season. We finally got our first NCAA tournament win. That's a huge accomplishment, and we've just been constantly getting better in a lot of the tournaments we played in the season. We've been the champions, and we won our conference season, regular season with no losses. We won our conference tournament. So I think we had a great season, and we're going to continue to try to get better.
Tom James from FGCU, WGCU, Jenna, Kenesha, and Whit. You guys are not really used to playing from behind very often. When you're in that kind of a situation, all of a sudden, what does that feel like?
That's when we know that we have to buckle down on our defense. You have to start getting stops, and in the first half, that's what we started to do. They started to turn the ball over a lot more, and we started, getting a little confidence, and then we started knocking down shots, and then, in the second half, they're too good of a team to get that far down and try to work your way back up. They just kept hammering in the post and the post and the post, and we just weren't getting defensive stops. So you just got to try to focus on getting stops and knocking down shots and.
Got one more? Go ahead, no, please.
I just think that in times like that, we have to come together as a team and keep our composure and stay positive. We definitely need to knock down open shots at that point, and we can't afford to waste any possessions when we're down like we were today. So.
Take one or two more from the student athletes.
Jenna, Manny Navarro, Eagle News. Was that the most hostile environment you played in all year, and was that a factor in the run that they got out too early?
I wouldn't say it was a hostile environment so much, but I don't think that had much of a factor to it. I think if we played them in another place, they'd still be the exact same team. They would go on their runs. They would do the exact same thing that they do here at home. So I don't think that had much of a factor.
With the volume of physical demands that all you guys already undertake, being an undersized team, when you add Florida State to that, any impact on a not good shooting night for the team and for you specifically from the arc? Does it take a little legs out of you or a little focus in any way?
I don't think so. I just think I didn't get into a great rhythm, so it kind of knocked me off a little bit. Our shots just weren't falling all together. I don't think it really had anything to do with the physicality. I just think they just weren't falling.
With that, we will let Jenna, Whitney, and Kanisha rejoin their teammates. Thank you, ladies, and congratulations on an outstanding season. We'll take questions now for Coach Zemesco.
Coach, with what you've done this year, do you feel that you guys, you mentioned you want to be an NCAA standard and a ranked team all the time. Do you feel that you've gotten over that hump and FGCU is now on the kind of national conscience in women's basketball?
Yeah, I think so. We got a chance maybe to finish in the top 25, and the final rankings are really close to it. And I imagine next year we'd start off with all the returners somewhere near the top 25, if not inside the top 25. We're definitely very happy with the direction the program is headed. Very proud of what the team accomplished this year, and we feel like we're only getting better.
And with that, Coach, how optimistic are you for next year? Like they said, they return everyone but Jared Anthony plus the transfer.
Yeah, it's hard to think about next year. Right now, but we have a good program. We have a lot of good young players that will be returning. We'll have high expectations, just like we do every year, maybe the highest we've ever had.
Joe Cummings, Link News. You've most of the season lived by the three. Is it fair to say that tonight is an example of dying by the three?
Well, I hear that expression. I just really don't believe in it. If you live by the two-point shot, the mid-range jumper, and you missed them, you would lose. So it's if you miss your shots, you're going to die by the missed shots. And for us, our team benefits, by the spreading of the floor and shooting the three at a good percentage, and then also being able to get to the basket and get to the foul line. We didn't get to the foul line on our drives. Florida State had good discipline, not putting us on the line, so we didn't get a lot of free throws. And then when we got layups, we had a lot of layups go in and out, which we couldn't afford to have happen today. But it's just shooting a poor percentage against a good team, you're not going to win.
John Zuber, New York Times. Yesterday, Sue was talking about how difficult it is for a 5+ seed to advance deep in the tournament because they run into programs that have too big a size, too much depth. Are we in the day and age where it's impossible for a lower seed to advance deep, Elite Eight, Final Four?
It's not impossible. Gonzaga made the Sweet 16, and Dayton made the Sweet 16, and have real good chances to continue to win. But what makes it tough and different from the men's side is, the home courts now. If you're not one of the top 4 seeds or some other unusual gym circumstance, you're going to probably have to beat somebody really good on their home floor, which in the men's tournament, that's not something that you have to face. So either you have to be good enough to beat that team on the road, or you have to be good enough to get one of those top 4 seeds. And we're hopeful that we can build our program to the point where we can be considered for one of those top 4 seeds and get tournament games in Alico Arena. But until then, we're gonna keep working and hopefully break through on somebody's court and advance to Sweet 16 and beyond.
Do you think that's a rule that needs to be looked at? Maybe not playing right on the board?
No, I don't. One, I think I'm in favor of not to get. I have a lot of theories on women's basketball. It's probably not the time that anybody wants to hear. But the number one theory that I have is we need to expand fan bases and to have Florida State earn the right to host this game with the season they had, and they deserve to have the fan support and crowd that they had today. And having the biggest events of the year on people's home courts helps build interest in women's basketball, and everybody should be on the same page with that, is that we have to grow this game and grow the fans. And if any changes were going to happen, I would say, instead of everybody getting an automatic bid, but you had like 40 BCS schools and 25 mid-major schools, and it's just the best 64 teams here. I guess it'd be 24 mid-major, or work out some type of number, and that way you'd have early round matchups that were more competitive and that nature. But I have ideas like that, and when they come out, they get zero support. So I wouldn't be looking for any of that coming up. But if you're talking about women's basketball, you want the most exciting product you can have at the biggest time of year, whether it's move the tournament so it's not head-to-head with the men's tournament, or make it so that our tournament is a little bit different in that, we'll save spot for mid-majors, but you got to be the top 25 or top 30 mid-majors, and the rest will be BCS schools, and we'll seed them, and we'll have the very best teams in the country going at it from day one.
Take another question here for Coach.
Lucas Casas, FSU. Coach, how do you deal with a team like FSU's depth?
Well, they didn't deal with it very well today. They wore us down, but that's what they do. I've seen Florida State play some games like, the first 12, 14 minutes at Notre Dame, when they played at Notre Dame, they were amazing. And, their first 12 to 15 minutes against Louisville in the conference tournament, only UConn is better than those stretches that I've seen. And when they started the game tonight, they were phenomenal. And that was one of the things that we wanted to guard against, is not get the crowd into it, not get them enthusiastic early, and we dug ourselves a hole. And I was just really proud of our kids that at that point we fought back and made it a game at halftime and gave ourselves a chance. And unfortunately, as I said at the beginning of the second half, when we missed some open shots, I think it kind of affected the enthusiasm of our team. Had we made those shots, I think we would have been a little more eager to defend and rebound and run on offense. Sometimes you're too much tied into whether the shot goes in or whether it goes out on how you're going to play the next play.
Yes, Bob Corwin with Swish Appeal. Coach, you play the 5 out and you do it very well. I've always been curious to ask you, having watched you from time to time over the years, how successful you've been with it. Is this something that is just your philosophy, or is it kind of a necessity based on the players you're able to get at your school?
Well, it was definitely planned from the outset. It's very difficult, at the mid-major level, or, we were going Division II to consistently have really good post players. There's very few mid-majors that can do it. So if you want to be competitive and compete against teams, you have to have a little bit of a different style. If we went up against Florida State and tried to play exactly the way Florida State did, and they have better players at 4 out of 5 positions or 3 out of 5 and all the bench, it would be really hard for you to compete. So you have to find a different way to make up some of the shortcomings you may have as a team. And for us, it's, hey, let's utilize a three-point shot. Let's try to get to the foul line more than they get to the foul line. And then let's spread them out and see if we can get some easy ones.
Carl, I know there's not much satisfaction in tonight, but could you just take a moment and reflect a little bit on the satisfaction of doing something that your program has long wanted to do and has never done until this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I feel great about our team. I feel great about, FGCU women's basketball. I'm proud of how the team played this year. Unfortunately, we needed to play a great game tonight. We didn't play a great game tonight because of the level of the competition, and it's very difficult to play great against them. But, I mean, there's definitely a sense of accomplishment of, winning the Atlantic Sun tournament, getting a quality seed in the NCAA tournament, winning it in the first round. So we're definitely headed in the right direction. There's nothing but disappointment today, but definitely when we look back on the season, we have a lot to be proud of.
Last question here.
Carl, in retrospect, there's no do-overs on any of this stuff. The benefit of drawing in Tallahassee for the first round and a fair seeding of 7 was Florida State maybe the worst, kind of a worst-case scenario for you guys among the bottom 1s and the 2s and maybe the high 3s that you could have drawn because of their athletes, and is the next step for your program to continue to elevate the type of players you have with even greater athleticism so that the next time you get a Florida State, they can't quite overwhelm you the way they did.
Well, I mean, it's going to be hard for us to get the types of athletes that Florida State gets. We're going to just have to play better. Was Florida State a tough matchup for us? Yes, they were. I mean, their athleticism, especially, at the 4 and 5 position, helped them match up against us better than most teams can match up against us. But I don't know. There's UConn would have been a worse matchup. Florida State is, they're really good. They're really good. I mean, they've got a legitimate chance at going to a Final Four, and they've done a great job assembling a team, and they don't have a lot of weaknesses. And if they shoot the ball well, they're going to be very tough for anybody to beat.
Coach, I want to thank you very much for your time this week, and congratulations on the super season.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.